So your first task this afternoon is to write down on a piece of paper two characteristics of an excellent presentation. Write down in your mind what you think are the top two characteristics of a presentation. I'm going to call on you. I've been in your seat, and this is kind of interesting. I think I shared this at one of Bill's last classes. I understand at Harvard they have these big auditoriums, and the very first day it's a real scramble to get certain seats that either put you in the line of sight of the professor or out of the line of sight of the professor, because the last thing you want to be done is picked on during class. So where do you think the key spots are at this Harvard auditorium? Where do you think the freshmen scramble to sit?
Back corner.
Back corner. Where else?
Front row.
Front row. Where else? Yeah, it's the sides. The sides are we call them the no-man zones over here, because the professor typically, if you have to take that corner of that wall and draw a straight line, that's really my view. And so you all over here, you can go to sleep. You all over here can daydream, text, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to call on these people right here. No. Actually, the professors are trained. They always work on the sides and up top to make sure they engage all the students. So I don't think you're going to get away with being over here on the side or in the back row. Okay? So what did you come up with? Two characteristics of excellent presentations.
I wrote down confidence in engaging your audience.
Confidence, engaging.
Organization and delivery.
Organization and delivery.
I put organized and confident.
Organized and confident.
Eye contact and knowing your material.
Eye contact and really knowing your material. Good flow and relate to the audience.
Speaking clearly.
Speaking clearly, thank you.
Eye contact and engaging the audience.
Good.
I said eye contact and
eye contact and
speaking clearly.
Speaking clearly, and one more, front row, all the way next to the wall. Yes, ma'am.
I have a visually stimulating and good delivery.
Did you all hear that?
No.
I didn't either. Say it again.
I said visually stimulating and good delivery.
Visually stimulating and good delivery. Okay. Well, the other aspect of a presentation is you have to have some sort of purpose, don't you? Now, what in your Capstone class, in your project, is your purpose? Is it to persuade? Is it to inform? Is it to direct? Is it to inspire? Is it time scale instructional? What is it? What's yours?
Mine is to inform the audience based upon my thesis statement.
Okay. How about yours?
Mine's more or less an argument to convince the audience.
Okay. Stimulate thought, provoke thought.
Right.
And maybe a call to action?
Yeah, call to action and then also have a case study example.
Good. How about yours, ma'am?
I'm graduating.
You're graduating?
I know I'm
She
Oh,
had
you're the
you,
advisor. Hello, advisor.
Joanna had you about 3 semesters ago or 4.
Okay, very good. How about your president?
Informative.
To inform? How many of you, by show of hands, is just to inform? Okay, how many is to persuade, to take action? Look at that. All right. And how about others to just arouse interest about the solution or the idea? Okay, we've got two. Inform and call the action. Good. A good presentation, some of the characteristics, I think you named it. You have to be engaging, good eye contact, you have that structure, you have to have a human element. What does that mean? A human element to your presentation.
Something people can relate to.
People have to relate to what you're saying. Good. What else?
Interaction.
interaction. Can you give me an example?
I mean, such as just asking a question.
Asking a question, maybe starting out your presentation with a question to engage the audience. Now you only have what, 10 minutes, Bill, for each presentation, so you can't actually enter into a dialogue. But the human contact or relating to the human is you have to have that eye contact. You have to be passionate. You have to share examples or share a purpose, so people kind of understand what's in it for me. Because isn't that what the audience is thinking? What's in it for me? Why am I sitting here for 10 minutes listening? Besides, you have to. But stop and think about the everyday presentation. Within the first 20 seconds, when somebody gets up, they have to convince you that they're going to be of interest to listen to. Otherwise, you zone out. Now, you do that several ways, don't you? You do it by the way somebody looks. You do it by the tone of their voice. You do it, of course, by the topic, the message. But they have to have maybe a grabber. So by me saying, folks, with your presentation today, for your presentation for the Capstone program, I'm going to make sure that you get an A. Provided you follow some very straight and forward rules and guidelines. Bill has already set out in your handout, I'm sure, some of the guidelines, right? 10 minutes, and he, of course, wants a thorough review of the project. But you know you can take about 10 different directions with your project. What if you were just to stand up here and talk? Your entire Capstone project was just standing up here talking to the class. How effective would that be? Versus having slides or a prop or a board, how effective would that be? Statistics show, out of 100% of retaining information from the audience perspective, that if you just use words, they only retain about 7%. If you use visuals, it's another 55%. And then based on your voice, inflection, articulation, the human side of it, another 38%. So we have 93% of your message is driven not just through the words, because Bill's been reading your project and he's been critiquing, giving you comments, right? Now it's your time and chance to get up there, explain the project, and really convey the message. So it's visuals and it's the way your voice, the way you deliver the message. Got it? 93%. So that's why Bill has asked me and others to come to talk to you about presentation techniques. How many of you have given a presentation within the last month to a group of non-students? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you tell me what that presentation was?
Sales presentation.
Sales presentation. Did you win the account?
In process.
In process.
Informative.
Informative to colleagues at work?
Board.
Board. Very good. How about over here?
Stock analyst and private equity pitch.
Okay. How'd it go?
Pretty well. One was more formal and one was more informal. You know, both of them had different audiences and different ways of presenting.
Good. You notice how you said one was formal, one was informal, and they had different audiences. Because your audience makes a big difference. Who else gave a presentation?
I gave one to some peers at work.
How do you feel about it?
Well,
How do you know?
I guess I don't.
You assume. You walked away with confidence that you delivered the message, but you're not quite sure if they heard the message.
No.
Okay. Anybody else? I didn't see another hand over here. No? All right. Well, up here is a diagram that I created many, many years ago. And it's really the components of an effective presentation. You have to first know your audience. Secondly, you have to develop a message that connects your audience. You have to create the mood, whether you're informing, instructing, directing, persuading. Then you have to deliver. And then question and answers. I work for a company that wins its work through qualifications. What that means is we have to submit qualifications of our people, our company or people, our processes, and then of course our solutions to the various problems. Big projects, airports, hospitals, headquarters, dams, bridges, roads, etc. The audience typically are very technical oriented, but you have two types of decision makers. You have the owner, non-expert, and then you have the experts, the advisors. So, we have to develop presentations that speak to our audience two ways. One at a very high level, bottom line, the other very detailed and informative, because there's two different types of key audiences. You have to realize what your audience is. Your audience is going to be Professor Hudnut, and who else? Your advisor, Chuck, who else? Fellow students, right? Right? Now, many of your fellow students know your subject matter, but I bet that probably 3/4 of them do not know your subject matter. So you can't just dive right into the detail. You have to start at a very high level, introduce it, and then get to the detail, and then come back out. But your audience are going to be 3 or 4 key decision makers. And the decision maker means the one that's going to give you the grade, right? And then the rest of the observers, which would be you all. Okay? So know your audience. Let's take a look at some key presentation techniques. So we're going to work a little bit on the body language, then we're going to work on a little bit on the messaging. And I have a series of slide presentations. I thought about this morning. I said, you know, they're going to be putting together PowerPoint. Wouldn't it be good for them to see examples of PowerPoint? And I just got back from Las Vegas at a conference called the Construction Owners Association of America. And there were 15 presentations given, each by different groups of owners, architects and engineers. And you're going to see a real variety. But I want you to see them because I want you to sit back and not look at the content as much as just the presentation. I think you'll find that interesting because some of them are really bad, some of them are really good. But you need to see that because as your audience is going to be sitting and looking at your presentation, they're going to be judging not only just what you say, but the supporting material. Now, a very important rule of thumb, and I want you to write this down if you can't remember it. You are the messenger, not the slides. You are the messenger, not the slides. If the slides are being developed to help you get you through your presentation, get rid of it. If the slides are to help the audience understand and support your message, keep it. Okay? Typically, in my business, engineers, that's who I work with, they like to have a lot of slides because they're into process. And not only do they have a lot of slides, they have a lot of bullets on slides because it's their guide to get them through the presentation. But I've been working real hard to get people to use big picture graphics and maybe charts to support a key message and then let them really be the messengers. It works. And it's a differentiator when you're comparing yourself to other contractors who do it the old way and we're coming in with a more clear, concise way. It also brings out that human element. It's the people they're looking at, and now they're clearly listening to the presenter, not trying to figure out the crazy charts that are behind them. Am I getting across to you? You're the messenger, not the slides. Take the slides out if they're just there to help you. Only put slides in to help the audience. Okay? That's the new way. PowerPoint is on its way out, folks. We're PowerPointed to death. And so the fewer slides and the more content you can present yourself, the more effective the presentation. Okay? So let's look at these points up here on the slide. You can see presentation techniques. We are going to focus for a few minutes on eye contact, gestures, two-way connection, stance, and posture. So, yes?
Before we move on, I just wanted to ask, what do you Or what are you suggesting that would replace PowerPoint?
If you were to replace PowerPoint, it would be either handouts, or it would be boards, or it'd be fewer PowerPoints, right? Or it might be a website. It just really depends on what your message is. It might be a picture. We had one fellow bring a picture of his family, and the hotel complex has been in his family for generations. And it was an old picture, beat up picture. But that's pretty effective. That's how he started out. This is the property I inherited, right? And then he went into the pro forma, went into the suggested use or reuse of the property. That's pretty effective. Right? So you have to think about variety. So hopefully you'll get a few ideas when you see these other presentations. Eye contact. How many of you in this room, since I started speaking, feel like I gave you some eye contact? Raise your hand. Okay, almost everybody. Now, I didn't touch you, and I know I didn't touch you specifically, but I feel I took care of this room. I did it with purpose. I want to purposely come in and talk to each one of you and make you feel like you're connected. Because if I can connect with you, you're going to listen more intently. You also realize that I might be asking questions, and the last thing you want to do is for me to ask you a question. So I'm about ready to ask a question, and when I look around, it's kind of funny when some of your eyes kind of drop down like this. You don't want to make eye contact because you know I'm going to ask you a question. But that's not the case here. Looking at people in the eye is really critical. When you're up here, and Bill, I'm not sure where the room is going to be. Is it going to be maybe over here?
I'm not sure yet. I hope it's the cardboard.
But when I'm back here, it's kind of hard to make a lot of good eye contact, isn't it? But you're probably going to be back here with the presentation. Now, the front row, pretty good. When I get to the back, I really have to stop and reach, don't I, to get your eye contact. But you can do it if you practice. The rule of thumb is, if everybody will raise their hand like this, real quick, just raise your hand. I'm going to talk to a few of you, and after I've talked to you just for 2 to 3 seconds, I want you to drop your hand. All right? Keep them up. And as I talk, I'm purposely making sure I connect with you. So after 3 seconds, you can drop it. And let me try it over here. Now, the art of looking at someone in the eye is not to look directly in their eye, but to look at a triangle above their brow, just below their nose. I'm really not looking at you in your eye. I'm really looking at your nose. But it looks like I'm looking at your eye, doesn't it? Yeah. So I know he's studying, going, wait a minute, you are looking at my eye. I'm looking in your eyes too. All right, you can drop your hands. The key is about 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds on somebody, and that way they purposely feel like they're being talked to. If all I did was just flutter around like this and really not look at anybody, that's insincerity, that's confusion maybe in my talk, that's insecurity in my material. So you don't want this butterfly, bumblebee, in and out type of view. You want to really focus on that person that you're talking to. And I'm looking at you, Miss Advisor, all the way across the room. All right? Eye contact. Gestures. You notice I've been using a lot of gestures with my hands. All right? I'd like everybody to stand up. We're going to practice a few gestures. I'm going to throw out a word or 2 or 3. And you give me, in your best estimation, what would you use as a gesture if this is your word that you chose to use? Here we go. You ready? Impact. Impact. Use whatever you want. Okay, good. Collaborative. Teamwork. Together. 3 points. So I got this, I got this, I got this, I've got this. All right. Higher. Quite a difference. Quite a difference. See that? Quite a difference. Projections are low. Projections are low. Projections are low. I was driving my car down a street, and I was going a little bit fast, and I noticed a man with his daughter on a tricycle turn and do this. What does that mean? Slow down. Universal. Okay, you can have a seat. Gestures are really important because that's part of this animated delivery. If I just stood up here and said, folks, I have 3 points I want to talk to you about, or, folks, I have 3 points I want to talk to you about. The first point is this: never put your hands in your pocket. See what I mean? Watch my facial expressions. I'm really excited about being here today. This has been a great project for me, and I'm going to hopefully excite you on the contents of my material today. All right. Sometimes that's how we all look. We're really not enthusiastic when we get out there. So gesturing can be with your mouth, with your eyes, with your hands, right? Even, I'm going to kick it out of the park, or drive. I'm going to drive it to success, or I'm going to hit a home run. You've got to use gestures to liven up your presentations versus just glad to be here today, or this is my partner Joe. We're going to talk to you about the impact of derivatives, right? Stiff, boring. Two-way connection. Think of yourself with a piece of reinforcement going through your chest. I know it's a terrible thought, but what you want to do is when you're presenting, you want to connect those bars with the other person's bar. Say they have them in their chest. Versus this, if I'm looking over here to our advisor here, she doesn't really feel priority. She sees that I'm looking over my left shoulder at her. But if I turn and I connect, I'm connecting clear across the room, even in the corner back there. You see how that works? So you've got to move a little bit to connect. You can't talk over shoulder. Now the tendency is you're going to pick a side that you favor. Bill, I know you've given a lot of talks, and I don't know if you're right-handed or left-handed. I assume you're right-handed. And do you have a tendency to maybe speak more to this side of the room than the left-hand side of the room? Or is there a
I try to cover the field.
You try to cover the field. That's a good answer, Professor. I have a tendency to want to talk to this group because I'm right-handed. You have to be careful that you don't leave this group out, all right? This is important. And particularly if Chuck and Bill are sitting over here and you all are looking over here in the wrong direction, those are your decision makers, folks. You better make sure you have good eye contact with your decision makers. Make sense? What's this tree represent? I like this. I think that's an oak tree, but I like to say, if you get up here, plant yourself like an oak tree. That's a good word picture. Your feet about 18 inches apart, not 2 inches, not leaning on one hip or the other. Plant yourself like an oak tree. Right? That gives the audience a chance to really watch you, get comfortable with your messaging, versus if I just start pacing, and I know some people like the pacing talk because they think that's the way they're going to cover the room, but isn't that annoying? You find it annoying? Huh? Yeah, you do. It's annoying. So plant yourself like an oak tree. Start with a message. When you're ready to change topics, there's nothing wrong with moving to another side of the room and say, now I want to talk to you about inflation. And you can start a new topic over here. Now, I don't expect you'll be moving around as much as I am today, but please keep in mind it's important to stand still as long as you can, be comfortable. Now, what do you do with the hands? Anybody know? Stand up, please. What do we do with, get your best presentation stance right now. You're getting ready to present. What's your best presentation stance? Okay, he's got his hands cupped, hands straight down, straight down, straight down. His hands are behind his back. That's right, I like that stance. Fig leaf. That's called the fig leaf. That's the fig leaf. This is the at ease. Yeah, when you first start, you want to get up here, relax, and Bill will say, okay, you have 10 minutes. You may begin, Larry. Well, good morning or good afternoon. What did I just do with my hands? Look at how my palms are open. Good morning or good afternoon. You don't want to over-dramatize it, right? Good afternoon. I love you. No, it's good afternoon. Just a nice little gesture, good afternoon, with open palms, opens me up. If I just stood up here and said, good afternoon, see the difference? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's welcoming, it's opening, it's a good sign. It also begins the process of getting your hands above your waist, because during your presentation, you don't want to be a stiff board presenting like this, but you want your hands up, and you want to begin to gesture with your hands above your waist, real comfortable. And I don't know if you've noticed me, but I gesture a lot. I'm not Italian. I gesture a lot, and I keep my hands pretty much above my waist. Make sense? Now the question comes, what do I do with, what if I did put one hand in a pocket like this and walked around? Or presented? What do you think?
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay? I don't think it's necessary. I'm wondering, what are you hiding? I've got my BlackBerry here. Right? But let's try to keep our hands out, exposed, open. Watch the fig leaf. Watch the arm across the shoulder. Watch the stiff as a board. I saw Bill demonstrate that. Stiff as a board stance. Just relax. All right? Can you all bring your arms up and bend at the elbow a little bit? Not too much. Just relax. 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 Yeah, not too formal. Nice. What does this mean? The steepling. I really know my subject matter. Whenever you see anybody doing this, they really know their subject matter. So when you're in negotiations for a deal, or you're trying to negotiate for a raise, and your boss is sitting here like this, be careful. He's got something up his sleeve, right? Right?
Is there anything else for deep thinking?
What?
Deep thinking.
Deep thinking? Yeah, deep thinking is sometimes like this, right? Taking back, putting your hand. Now, some people will put their hands on their heads like this, and I've actually put my hands back here. When someone's dumping on me or piling on me, my hands usually go back like this. Why are we talking about this? Well, that's body language. We're not interested in that for presentations. Keep your hands above the waist. Got it? Gesture above the waist. All right, let me see you gesture 4 points. I have 4 points. 4 points. Notice my palms are out, not in. Out, not in. I have 4 points. When you're going to draw attention to a slide, like I'm going to draw attention to a slide, I don't want to point, take a look at the slide over here. I want to say take a look at the slide over here. My palms are out, open. See that? Out, open. Not take a look at the slide over here. When you get to the slide, and let's say there's a chart with data, I want to draw your attention to the bottom left-hand corner. Do you see that number? Do you see that number? Not very effective, is it? What if I was to say, I want to draw your attention to the left-hand corner, that number right there. You see it? You notice how your eye went right to where the tip of my finger pointed. It's very important that you use this pointer if you're going to be using a slide. You're going to be drawing our attention. Many times I've seen a lot of presentations, there'll be graphs up there, and they'll say, you can see there's a 23% rate of return. How much more effective would it be if you walked over and said, as you can see, it's a 23.6% rate of return. What did I do? I animated myself. I drew you right to where I wanted you to look versus talking in generalities. All right? So, you can have a seat. The idea is get your hands up, use your hands, bend at the waist, open palms whenever possible, and use your pointer. Okay? Posture, I think we've already talked about that, so let's move on. Again, a presentation in 10 minutes, it's hard to get bored. It's hard for your audience to get bored, or tired, or to wander, as I would say. So if you would look at this chart, you can see within a certain period of time, people begin to lose their interest. How many of you begun to lose interest in this presentation? Raise your hand. Don't do that. It hasn't been 10 minutes yet. But that's why we have to use speak a variety, handouts, pauses, changing of slides, movement, anything to keep your interest. Okay? So that's why we're talking to you today. We just don't want you up here just talking like a talking head, like a recording. We want you to really show the passion, because you spent a lot of weeks working on this project. And Bill's not looking for content, but he's looking for believability. Do you really believe in your recommendations? Did you really enjoy the project? Right? half the battle of convincing someone to buy is you have to show that you really believe in the product. That's probably 90%, but it's the way you present it. All right? Questions about that? This is the hog trough, as I call it, right here. And then right when you say, in conclusion, that's when the attention span goes way up. Or in summary, your presentations, folks, do me a favor, start them out with a grabber. Give me a reason to want to listen to you for 10 minutes. Don't just recite the title on your paper. Give me an opening. So let's try a couple. I'm going to point to a couple. I'm going to ask a couple of you to share with me what the topic of your paper is. Would you tell me what the topic of your paper is?
Sure. Opportunities in green retrofits for university campus.
Okay. Did you all hear that in the back?
No.
Some of you, could you stand up and share that?
Yeah. My topic is opportunities in green retrofits at university campuses.
Okay, now can you do me a favor and rethink about how you might pull me into this conversation besides just reading the title of your paper?
Sure. I'm going to speak to each of you today about something that has affected or is affecting all of you today.
And that is?
Well, university campuses, but I mean, before I leave it.
That's great, thank you. Let's give them a golf course clap. Very good. Sir, how about you?
Healthcare development.
Housing development?
Healthcare.
Healthcare development. Okay, that's pretty generic. Can you do me a favor and stand and give me a reason I want to listen to your paper? What's the objective? Or tell me something of really of interest.
Today I'm here to talk to you about how $20 trillion can impact your business.
Wow, that's great. Okay, this side of the room. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yes, sir.
Just tell you what my thesis is.
Yes.
Development in Atlanta, multifamily housing development in Atlanta.
Okay. A lot of that's going on around the country. Can you give me a reason to listen to your presentation? What would be an opening grabber statement? Think about the objective or purpose.
Have a surefire way for you to make money on your investment.
You've got my interest. Thank you. All right. Anybody else want to try for the fun of it? In the back row, sir.
A lawyer who engages in other related real estate professions.
Okay, say that again.
A lawyer who engages in other related real estate professions.
Okay. Now, give me an opening grabber.
As a lawyer, we want to make money, but boy, we don't want to be disbarred or publicly reprimanded.
In real estate.
In real estate.
Thank you. All right. Now, that was brief, simple, but folks, when you start your presentation, we're not going to read titles, are we? We're going to try to think about a creative way to open our presentation that supports the message. Got it? Good. The pregnant pause up here, there's a pregnant pause. That really helps you create a little space so people can think about what you're saying. It also helps us reflect on what you're trying to emphasize. I know 10 minutes seems like a long time, but it will go very quickly. But you need to make sure you insert pauses, take a deep breath, give us a chance to absorb what's said. I just heard a presentation yesterday from the director of the CP, which is a institute in Stanford University, talk about the application and use of BIM, Building Information Modeling. And he talked nonstop for 1 hour. And I'm going to show you some of his slides. But it was more than hearing and listening from a fire hydrant. It was unbelievable. It was nonstop details and data and facts and trends and projects and reports and meetings and certificates. I mean, it was just too much. He never took a pause. Never really gave us a chance to digest. Okay? It was like pressing fast forward for 1 hour. All right? Within the first 5 minutes, every one of the audience members, I saw them. I looked around. They were looking at their BlackBerries under the table. How silly is that? All right? Here's the model we talked about. And then, folks, look at this last one. It's London Bridge. I use that as an image to help you, help remind you that you need to have transitions. Transitions between key points or topics. And a transition is a statement. A statement that kind of leads me to the next city after leaving one city. You're like you're on a journey, but you need to let me know where I'm going each along the way. Now, in our presentations, we sometimes put up a separate blank slide that shows we're changing topics. We're now going from design to procurement, or procurement to construction, right? So you need a transition statement, and we need to be able to follow your slide presentation or your presentation, your talk, with transitions. Does that make sense? Okay. And then this is a surefire way that I've used in the past to help me, particularly with the informative presentations, structured presentation. A presentation always has three parts, an opening, middle, and end. The opening, of course, introduces the topic with a grabber, and then a quick statement about what I'm about ready to share with you, highlighting no more than 3 to 4 key points. And then the body of the presentation are covering each one of the 3 to 4 points. And then the summary is reviewing again why the 3 or 4 points support the problem, and then a closed thank you with the questions and answers. Make sense? So in your papers, there's a lot of rich data, and there's quite a bit of analysis that's gone. You have to break it down into 3 or 4 key points, not 8 or 10, not 1, but maybe 3 or 4. It's a good number. People can remember 3. You get more than 4, it's tough. Okay? So this is a good outline. They might ask, well, what's the response check? This is something, particularly most of our presentations run an hour, 45 minutes, 30-minute presentations. So we have 4 or 5 or 6 or as many as 10 or 15 people speaking. And this is an engagement check, really. This is where you can say, are there any questions? Now, you won't do that because you only have 10 minutes. Or this might be where I'm going to give you something to look at during that body of the presentation to make sure we're connected. I'm not just going to stand up there and talk or have my team just talk. They're going to start to engage and interact during that presentation. I can't tell you how many presentations we've lost because the owner said you didn't really connect or feel like you were interested in the project. And what they're saying is, you didn't speak about my issues, you didn't connect with me, I didn't like the way it was delivered. Okay? So, order, we talk about order and structure. This is a good format for order and structure for many presentations. Questions about this? Okay. And I can't go without saying smile, open up, make sure you smile. Good afternoon, right? It's good to be here. It really is. It's good to be here. Smile, because you all are individuals, you all have great smiles, so just use it. And it also puts the audience at ease. It also makes them feel like, hey, it's a pretty neat person, versus boring, dull, right? Introverted, no. Believe it or not, folks, I was very introverted. All through high school, all through college. My first 3 years as an engineer, very introverted, very much about the number, the process, the estimating. I was an estimator, I was a field engineer, and lo and behold, once I got into sales and business development and marketing, it kind of forced me to get out, let down my guard, feel comfortable in my skin, and realize that there are always people better than me, there are always people worse than me. All I can do is be my very best and give my very best. And I want you all to give your very best at your Capstone class, because it's the very last impression that Bill is going to have of you all as successful, emerging successful professionals. So give your best, okay? Don't just let this be a report or presentation. Give me the best. Passion. All right? Questions? I'm going to move now.
I've got a question. Could you offer an example of where you sort of had a very negative experience in a presentation that you've learned from?
We've had presenter sprees. We've had presenters use the wrong choice of words, like, pardon me for saying this, come to Jesus meeting. You know, that offends some people. You got to be careful. Or speakers are actually frozen. Right. Or during a question and answer session, the person answering was very defensive. Right? And it put the whole audience then on a defensive posture versus just sitting there comfortably and responding with a level, non-emotional response. So those are 3 or 4 examples of how things have gone wrong. And of course, we've had our PowerPoint not work. I mean, this wouldn't work. The computer froze up. It had nothing to do with the projector. I've never had a bulb go out in my 30 years of presenting. So usually it's the presenter, it's the message, or it's during question and answer where we don't come across as well as we can. Now, Bill, are you going to be asking questions after the presentation?
No.
No. Strictly presentation. Thank you very much. Good job.
In the practice, we do. We
Good.
have a lot of dialogue in the practice.
Good. Good. Okay. Any other questions? How are we doing time-wise? Good?
Yep.
All right. Let's stand up and let's have a little fun. And Bill, you know what this is.
Yes, sir.
I have 40 tongue twisters. And I'm going to point to you all, and we're going to go right down the ladder. I have 40 of them. And I think there's about 27, 28 of you. And you each get to practice a tongue twister. You have no idea which one it is. Right? But you each get one. Now, why are we doing this? It's so important for us to hear you, to articulate. We have people with accents. We have people that speak very softly. We have people that mumble. I'm sure in this room, maybe not, but I'm sure there's somebody. So this is to help you just project and speak very clearly. If you want a little secret, don't try to say anything fast, even in your presentation. The average person listens to 160 words per minute. I'm right now speaking at about 160 words per minute. If I start talking any faster than that, you're going to think I'm a slick Willie salesman. If I talk, or nervous, if I talk real slow and put fillers in there, you're going to know I don't know my material, I haven't rehearsed, and I'm not very confident. Okay? So the key is don't speak very fast, project, and have fun. All right? Let's go ahead and begin with the first one. Would somebody like to take the first one? I'll just ask for a volunteer. In the back.
Get it over with.
Now, here's what I want you to do. I want your hands out of your pockets. I want you to, if you can, gesture. No stiff board. Let's just have some fun with this, but practice our presentation skills, okay? Go ahead. Now, you've got both sides of the room. They have to hear you.
Okay. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Very good.
Bravo.
Okay, who thinks they can say this the fastest? Who wants to try saying it really fast? I bet you
Glad
do.
to.
All right, say it as fast as you can. Here we go.
Peter Piper, that's already messed up. A peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Where the peck Peter Piper picked.
All right. Nice.
Way to go.
All right, let's go to the next one. Yes, ma'am. I like this one too.
Be careful.
Now be careful on the end. Now you have to speak to the class all the way over here. I want to hear you.
I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop where she's sits, she shines, and where she shines, she sits.
Very good. Let's have one of the guys say it. Would you like to say it? Now say it, project all the way, okay?
I saw Susie sitting in a shoe shine shop. Where she sits, she shines, and where she shines, she sits.
All right, good job. Now, number 3, yes. How many
boards the Mongols hoard, the Mongol hordes get bored?
I don't know. How many? All right, let's move it on. Number 4.
How can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
Oops. Let's go to number 5.
Send toast to 10 pence, stout steaks.
Can you hear that over there? Say it again, please.
Send toast to 10 pence, stout steaks, 10 tall pence.
That's tough. Okay, how about the next one? Yes, sir.
Me sees the fleece, me sees the fleece.
Watch your hands. Hands out. Right?
At least the knees can sneeze and feed the fleas. Feed and freeze the fleas.
I messed you up. Try it again with your hands open. Yeah.
The knee sees the fleece, the knee sees the fleas, at least the knees can sneeze and feed and freeze the fleas.
All right.
Attaboy.
Next, we're going to go on down to, let's see what the next one is. 7. Oops. 7, where are you? Let's skip 7. Let's go to 8. Okay? Let's just start around the room. This end.
Sheila leads, Sheila leads.
Very good. Can you say that again as loud as you can over here so we can hear you? Really loud.
Sheila leads, Sheila leads.
Very good. I heard it. Next. Right down the road. Right down the road.
The 33 thieves thought that they thrilled the throne throughout Thursday.
Very good. Can you say it one more time, though, and I want you to project as far as that wall.
The 33 thieves thought that they thrilled the throne throughout Thursday.
Very good. Perfect. All right, number 10. That's a tough one. Long one. Speak up.
Something in a 30-acre thermal thicket of thorns and thistles. Thumped and thundered, threatening the 3D thoughts of Matthew the Thug, although, theatrically, it was only the 13,000 thistles and thorns through the underneath of his thigh that the 30-year-old thug thought of that morning.
Very nice.
Wow.
Okay, let's go on around.
Can you can and can as a canner, can and can?
Very good. Next.
This is me. Seth at Sainsbury's sells fake socks.
Say it again. Good.
Seth at Sainsbury's sells fake socks.
Big stocks. Very good. All right, moving on. Good job. Yep.
You cuss, I cuss, we all cuss for asparagus.
Heard that. Oh, the ice cream one. All right. 14, let's keep going. 14.
Roberta ran rings around the Roman ruins.
Say it again, I didn't hear the last word.
Roberta ran rings around the Roman ruins.
Very good. All right, 15.
Clean clams crammed in clean cans.
Say it again.
Clean clams crammed in clean cans.
Very good. Say it one more time so I can hear you all the way over here. Raise your voice.
Clean clams crammed in clean cans.
Good. All right, good job. Next. If you've already done one, skip.
6 hicks, nick 6 slick bricks, picks and sticks.
That's a tough one. Bill, can you say that one?
Probably not.
Don't even try it, Bill. That was good.
Better get my hands
Keep
on
going.
it. 6 hicks, nick 6 slick bricks with picks and sticks.
There you go. All right, next.
I wish to wish
the wish you wish to wish, but if you wish the wish the which wishes, I won't wish the wish you wish to wish.
All right, look at your hands. All right, get your hands out. No, not the fingers, not the hide that. There you go. Get it out. Just relax and say it real loud.
I wish to wish the wish you wish to wish, but if you wish the witch's wish, I won't wish the wish you wish to wish.
Very good.
Let's go, Billy.
Okay, let's see. What's going on around? Some of these are pretty straightforward.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
Let's skip 19. Let's go to 19.
There was a
Bill, did you want to go, Bill?
Oh, I've gone.
There was a fisherman named Fisher who fished for some fish in a fissure, till a fish with a grin pulled the fisherman in. Now they're fishing the fisher for Fisher.
Very good. Very good. Make sure you project. You're going to get that voice out. Next.
World Wide Web.
Oh, man. That's not a tough one.
I think you should go again.
Okay, Turner.
All right, you take the first half, and you can take the second half, okay? And we'll break it at, we'll stop after shock. Sharp shock.
Okay.
All right, then you pick up from a cheap and chippy chopper.
I thought I nailed the last one, though.
Go ahead.
To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock, and something prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock, and a something prison with a long lifelong, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock.
Very good. Now, what is that word? Why don't you try to solve the puzzle?
Pestilential?
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Okay, good job.
Okay. From a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block, a dull, dark dock, a lifelong lock, a short, sharp shock, a big black block, to sit in solemn silence in a pestilent prison, and await the sensation from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block.
Very good. Okay, good job. All right, who we got? That was a tough one. What happened here? Moving on around. Let everybody get a chance. Okay, next, let's do 24.
Luke Luck likes lakes. Luke's duck likes lakes.
Project.
Luke Luck licks lakes. Luck's duck licks lakes. Duck takes licks in lakes. Luke Luck likes. Luke Luck takes licks in lakes. Duck likes.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Dr. Seuss.
Okay, good job. Now, make sure we notice how he took it at a good even pace. At a good even pace and articulate. Here we go. Let's move it along. We're almost done. Go.
Larry, we missed her.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to do 77.
Mia Cole.
26? 25?
20. You can take either one, 25 or 26.
77 benevolent elephant. 77 benevolent elephant.
Do number 26 for me.
There, those 1,000 thinkers were thinking, how did the other 3 thieves go through?
Very good. A lot of T's on that, right? Very good. There are those 1,000 thinkers. Everybody try this. This is good for the T's. Ready? Go.
There those 1,000 thinkers were thinking, how did the other 3 thieves go through?
Very good. All right. Let's do 27. Almost done. 32. Let's jump to 32. Have you gone?
Oh, okay.
You win. You
Yeah.
win. You win.
No, sorry, no. 1-1 was a racehorse. 2-2 was 1-2. 1-1 race. 2-2 1-1-1 2.
Whoops.
Sorry, added one in there.
Try it again. I'll give you a shot.
1-1 was a racehorse. 2-2 was 1-2. 1-1 race. 2-2 1-1-2.
Very good. Okay.
Go.
All right, here we go. 33, moving on around. We've got that elephant. 11 benevolent elements. Who hasn't gone? Okay.
Which one?
Do number 34.
Celibate, celebrant. Celibate, celebrant. Celibate, celebrant.
Let's all try that loud and clear. Ready? Go.
Celibate, celebrant. Celibate, celebrant. Celibate, celebrant.
All right. And number 35.
Willie's real rear wheel.
Say it faster.
Willie's real rear wheel.
Say it again.
Willie's real rear wheel.
Rear. Those are the R's. Willie's real rear wheel. All right. Moving on down. We're almost done here. Thanks for your patience. Who hasn't gone? Who wants this one? You take this one. Number 36. This is a tough one. It's all about the P's.
If Pickford's Packers packed a packet of crisps, would the packet of crisps that Pickford's Packers packed survive for 2.5 years?
Very good.
Hey, good man.
Very well articulated. Nicely done. You all did well. We got one more? How many more do we have? One? Two? One. All right, you get number 39.
Did Dick Pickens prick his pinky, pickling cheap cling peaches in an inch of pinch, or framing his famed French finch photos?
Wow, that's a tough one, huh? Good job. Let's everybody try that one real quickly. Ready? Go. Did Dick Pickens prick his pinky, pickling cheap cling peaches in an inch of pinch, or framing his famed French finch photos? Give yourself a big hand. All right, for this last bit of time that we have, I'm going to run you through a couple series of slides, and I want you just to watch and listen. We've got a few minutes left.
You're fine.
Let's look at a few things here. Here are some great resources. I'll put this in play mode so you can see it. You can get these books on Amazon.com. Gary Reynolds and Nancy Duarte, fantastic books with images, instructions, guidelines, a lot of great examples of how to craft presentations, advertisements, and whatnot. But very well done. Okay. This morning I pulled out a presentation I gave back in 2010 to a group of marketers. And the topic was competitive intelligence. And boy, oh boy, was I embarrassed with my slides. Because as a matter of fact, the last year and a half, I've learned a lot. And you have to continue to learn and observe yourself. You can't just revert to the traditional presentation formats. So I'm going to run you through a few things that I saw about my presentation I didn't like, and give you a few examples, and you just see if I'm right. Okay? So here is a sample cover. What do you think? Kind of boring, isn't it? How's that? It's about competitor intelligence. Most major corporations have a competitor intelligence officer whose sole purpose is to go around and really understand the competition so that you can better position yourself in the marketplace. Okay? Now look at the layout of this slide. Larger picture. What's that do for you? I'll go back. You have that, or you have that. I'll let you be the judge. And then there's one more, and there's that on the right side versus the left side. And there's even one more way, and it's that side. There is a theory out there, it's called the power of 3. You would divide a presentation slide up into 3 segments, 4 lines. These points where the lines intersect are the power points. Right? A good rule of thumb is you want to line, if you have images of people, you want to line them up on one of these 2 axes, This is always a good quadrant for titles, good area for images. 1/3 white space, no more than 1/3 text, which, no, that's not right, 2/3, 1/3 text, 1/3 images. The key is to have a lot of white space. I don't like this, though I like the picture. It does throw the title down here at the bottom. My preference is something like this or like this. This is okay, but the picture is weak, and this is boring. Okay? Your eye will focus primarily in that center area or along those axes. Okay? Here's a slide that's laid out fairly simply. How about this slide? Ever seen slides like that? Holy cow! Words, words, words. Let me show you how I redesigned it this morning. Same information, less text. See that? Just by a little simple graphic modification. Fewer words, less text. Look at this slide. Wow. What do you think? Busy, graphics busy, too much text, small text. Look at the title. Are you doing all you can? So, a little research, and here's what I came up with. Fewer words, bolder. The emphasis is on the bottom line, bolded, and a little Google image search, and I found that. Here's another one, a review of a marketing December. I listed some stats, some data. It's interesting what you can do if you just block out the information. See what a difference that makes? It kind of highlights it, here versus here. And take out all the superfluous words and information and just put the key data. Okay, look at this. Again, pretty neat little graphic. A lot of words on the left, or is it? Do you like it? Let me show you how I modified it. Made the picture larger, and I wordsmithed. I took out a lot of words. It's the same message. But see how simple that is? Target, middle of the line, investigate. It's kind of hard to pick that out in this, isn't it? Nice, simple quote, and nice use of a little bit of animation. Okay? Is competitive intelligence important to winning? Now look at this slide. What do you think? Yes, because there's a lot of points there. That slide is for the presenter. That's not for the audience. So if I was to modify that, I might do that. Larger picture, fewer words. That versus that. Again, I'm going to draw your attention. If you have a graph, if you have a picture, put a caption. The caption below the picture. You're all used to reading magazines and newspapers. If there's a report, a graph, a piece of data, give me a statement below the picture so I know what I'm looking at. Again, simple images, but you can change the perspective by just putting a block behind one or the other. Gives a little more variety. Here's an org chart. I have no idea what I'm looking at, other than you've got to search and finally get to the org. And same thing with this. You've got to search and find that competitive intelligence. Though it's bolded slightly, how about if you add a little red line around it to really draw my attention to that? Again, box out information versus having just words and pictures help. And then the rest of this is just graphs and great pictures that kind of show what matches the message, the title. Look at this. I read this is a section out of the Freedom of Information Act. It's kind of hard, and I bolded the upon written request. So what I did is I simplified it. Oops. I simplified it to that. You see that? You don't have to put the whole act up there. Just put out what's important. Okay? I put a caption underneath this busy chart. Understand comparative fees and costs of better development strategies for land. Pictures are great. You may have debriefs and forums. Look what I did to this. All I did was put a box around the quote and let you know that this is a debrief quote from an owner. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what it is. See that? And let's see if there's anything else I want to show you on that. I didn't change them all. Okay? Now let's go and look at some of these presentations real quick. I think you'll find these interesting. The first one I have here is, I believe, this is simple. Oh, text heavy. No, this is the simple one. This is a really neat presentation from the head of construction and real estate for Crate and Barrel. You all know that store? So he starts out with large images, and he's talking while these images are up. Talking about the different times, the emphasis on lead, lighting. He has funny pictures in there. He supports his message. Easy to read graphs, or actually, he shows this is what the contractor in yellow is typically responsible for. We've changed our model at Crate and Barrel. We've now taken control of many of the divisions of work, as you can see in blue. So he'll go back, and he'll do this. You can see the impact. And then simple to read charts, and how he's cut the schedule of delivery of stores in half, and shows how he's done that. And then he has some other diagrams. Some of these are busy, like this is busy. That's busy. But he's got some nice, these are busy, a lot of words. But again, the pictures are supporting his message, talking about waste. Waste of human manpower, waste of materials, etc. And then he has some examples of architecture and pretty neat. BIM, use of BIM. But again, not a lot of words, a lot of text. I mean, a lot of graphics. This next one, again, has a lot of words with some funny colors in the background. Black on colors don't work, folks. Remember that. Black type on color does not work. See that? Hard to focus on the message. Okay? A lot of words. This whole presentation was just words. Words, 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 with an occasional clip art. But again, it's hard to read. A lot of words on the left. Words, 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 clip art. Words, words. Okay? This one is the gentleman from Stanford. Very brilliant man.
So on each slide, you want some kind of image, correct?
It's very helpful to have some sort of supporting image. This is a very busy presentation. There's about 4 things going on here. You'll see as I go through this. He confuses the audience. He always has his header up here with things going on at Stanford. Then he tries to fit in his message in a very small space. Just a lot of data, and it went about this pace. There's a couple cool images, but I'll show you. It gets busier as we go. And you don't have complex slides like this if you have a short period of time and people aren't able to digest and really absorb what's being shown. See, that's a lot of information on these slides. Next one, again, black on text. Easy to read?
No. Terrible.
Pretty amazing, huh? That's a pretty neat image right there, isn't it? Cracking the egg. See how it supports, the image supports the title. Okay. Moving on. Almost done here. How about text over images? What's that say? Streamline permitting. Cut real tape so job creating construction and infrastructure projects can move forward. Okay. This is a pretty neat presentation of an island up in Alaska called Kodiak, in the northeast part of Alaska. They're looking to build a high school, $76 million high school. They've never built a project of this nature. And they put together this neat little presentation. I'll show you how simple it is and clear as they're speaking. You can see very clear visuals, not a lot of text. They're the message. They're doing the talking. Okay? All right. And then finally, I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. Okay. Now, questions. Now that I've spent quite a bit of time talking, let's do a review. Let's go backwards. Tell me, from your perspective, what does a good PowerPoint slide look like? This side of the room.
It has a combination of images and text without being too wordy.
Not too. There's a rule of 5 by 5 or 7 by 7. I like 5 by 5. 7 by 7 is on a flip chart. 5 by 5. No more than 5 bullets on a slide. No more than 5 words per bullet. And if you can narrow it down to even fewer words, the better it's going to be. Okay. An image on each slide really makes a difference, doesn't it? Okay. And an image should tie to the message. Don't just use clip art. Let me just grab something because the picture has to really be rich and related to the topic.
How do you feel about titles on each slide? You know, some people tend to have a title at the top. I saw some of the ones you showed did, others didn't.
Well, it's not necessary if you have a good, clear message. So I'm going to leave the presentation behind. It's always good to have maybe a title and some information so I know if I look at the presentation on paper, I know what I'm supposed to be looking at. But it's not critical.
And secondly, do you think having a consistent theme, such as a color and a layout scheme throughout,
yes,
I think that's better than switching back to it?
Consistent layout, format, themes are very important. One slide presentation I didn't show you had 5 different colors of type. Red, blue, green, white, and yellow. Way too busy. Too many colors. Keep the colors to 2, including black. Black's not a color. But 2, maybe 3 at the most. Same format, layout. Why? If you can. The audience then can listen to you and not always readjust you to the format. Again, it's about them getting the message, not about them enjoying the presentation slides. Make sense? Okay. This side of the room. What about presentation graphics? Big is better than small sometimes, right, when it comes to pictures. What else? Type size. Type size needs to be large, not small. No paragraphs. Okay, we don't want paragraphs. We don't want full sentences. We can help it. We want just bullets. What else? Anything else about PowerPoint? Talk about layout. Layout, 1/3, 1/3. Try to make sure you have white space, you have photography, and you have a little bit of text if you want it. Okay? Let's move off of PowerPoint. What about your delivery? What about, what did we learn about articulation? Anybody share what we learned about articulation?
Practice makes perfect.
Practice. We didn't talk about practice. You know, you all got to practice? I can't tell you how many of the people that we, in my company, the folks don't like to rehearse. But those that do rehearse, when we stand up in front of that owner sees a difference. Because we look like a well-oiled machine. Really passing the baton, speaking, articulating, getting a clear message across. The last thing I do in a presentation is I make my slides. The first thing I do is outline my presentation. In another column, I say, okay, what are the key messages I want to come out of these sections? What do I want Professor Hudnut to really remember? Each section. Okay, now, what graphic can I put with that section to really support the message? Right? Folks, that's how you do a presentation. You don't start with the slide and then build a message around it. You come up with a message and then develop the slides for graphics. We talked about delivery, stance, hands, eyes, positioning, articulation, projection. Anybody have any small children in here? If you have a small child or you like reading to a small child, go home and get a little book and read. Animate your voice. Another thing to do, because you all read newspapers, when you see a quote in the newspaper, pretend you're that person speaking and try to say that quote out loud with some emphasis. Don't just read it. So when you go and you rehearse, I want you to make sure you build in pauses. I want you to know where you want to inflect or really emphasize a point. I want you to use your gestures, right? And more than anything else, I want you to really believe in your topic, because you've spent the last, how many weeks working on this? How many weeks?
A lot. 26.
A lot. How many?
26.
26 weeks?
Yeah, from when I started researching.
Okay. 26 weeks. It's coming down to a 10-minute presentation. Folks, you got to really come in there showing that you earn the right for an A. Don't just think that you're getting up there giving it. It's a check the box. I know Professor Hudnut, he's going to be looking for passion, he's going to be looking for clarity, he's going to be looking for you really knowing your material, and this is your last demonstration that you can do it. And so I really want you to work hard on this practice. Bill, I'm going to ask you, is there anything else that we need to make sure we cover before we close?
I don't think so. I think this has been very helpful, Larry. I was expecting you to show that woman, you know.
Terry Sorgen, I could do that.
Can you do that?
Yes,
Then we'll
sir.
quit. That won't take but 2 or 3 minutes. It's a good video. If you can pull it up.
You can go to YouTube and punch in PowerPoint presentations. See if I can get online here.
Maybe Gina can help you there. While we're waiting, let me just say that this is the last time that the whole class will be together. The rest of the time you'll be broken up into sections. And I want to thank you for being a good class. I really enjoyed working with you. You've done a fine job. You're all wonderful people, and I wish you all the best of everything. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
And if you're interested, the Colts will probably lose on Sunday. Don't worry if you can't pull it up. Let's hear it for Larry.
Okay, thank you.
Class dismissed. Thank you. Thanks to Joanna, and thanks to Ivan for being with us. Appreciate it very much. Thanks to Gina.